A restaurant is a business which prepares and serves food and drink to customers in return for money either paid before the meal, after the meal, or with an open account. Meals are generally served and eaten on premises, but many restaurants also offer takeout and food delivery services. Restaurants vary greatly in appearance and offerings, including a wide variety of the main chef's cuisines and service models. Types. Restaurants may be classified or distinguished in many different ways. The primary factors are usually the food itself, the cuisine and/or the style of offering. Beyond this, restaurants may differentiate themselves on factors including speed, formality, location, cost, service, or novelty themes. Restaurants range from inexpensive and informal lunching or dining places catering to people working nearby, with simple food served in simple settings at low prices, to expensive establishments serving refined food and fine wines in a formal setting. In the former case, customers usually wear casual clothing. In the latter case, depending on culture and local traditions, customers might wear semi-casual, semi-formal or formal wear. Typically, customers sit at tables, their orders are taken by a waiter, who brings the food when it is ready. After eating, the customers then pay the bill. For some time the traveling public has been catered for with ships' messes and railway restaurant cars which are, in effect, traveling restaurants. In recent times there has been a trend to create a number of traveling restaurants, specifically designed for tourists. These can be found on such diverse places as trams, boats, buses, etc. Restaurant staff. A restaurant's proprietor is called a restaurateur. Like restaurant, this derives from the French verb restaurer, meaning to restore. Professional cooks are called chefs, with there being various finer distinctions. Most restaurants will have various waiting staff. In finer restaurants this may include a host or hostess or even a more registered trademarked hôtel to welcome customers and to seat them, together with a busboy and a sommelier. By region, history, Greece and Rome. In ancient Greece and ancient Rome, thermopolia were small restaurant bars that offered food and drinks to customers. A typical thermopolium had little L-shaped counters in which large storage vessels were sunk, which would contain either hot or cold food. Their popularity was linked to the lack of kitchens in many dwellings and the ease with which people could purchase prepared foods. Furthermore, eating out was considered a very important aspect of socializing. In Pompeii, 158 thermopolia with a service counter have been identified across the whole town area. They were concentrated along the main axis of the town and the public spaces where they were frequented by the locals. China. In China, food catering establishments which may be described as restaurants were known since the 11th century in Kaifeng, China's northern capital during the first half of the Song dynasty. Probably growing out of the tea houses and taverns that catered to travelers, Kaifeng's restaurants blossomed into an industry catering to locals as well as people from other regions of China. Stephen H. West argues that there is a direct correlation between the growth of the restaurant businesses and institutions of theatrical stage drama, gambling and prostitution which served the burgeoning merchant middle class during the Song dynasty. Restaurants catered to different styles of cuisine, price brackets, and religious requirements. Even within a single restaurant much choice was available, and people ordered the entree they wanted from written menus. An account from 1275 writes of Hanzhou, the capital city for the last half of the dynasty. The people of Hanzhou were very difficult to please. Hundreds of orders are given on all sides, this person wants something hot, another something cold, a third something tepid, a fourth something chilled. One wants cooked food, another raw, another chooses roast, another grill. The restaurants in Hanzhou also catered to many northern Chinese who had fled south from Kaifeng during the Jurchen invasion of the 1120s, while it is also known that many restaurants were run by families formerly from Kaifeng. Western world. In the Western world, while inns and taverns were known from antiquity, these were establishments aimed at travelers, and in general locals would rarely eat there. The modern idea of a restaurant as well as the term itself appeared in Paris around 1765 when Boulanger began to sell restaurants, and other foods. Restaurants constituted another sort, of eating establishment, a new one if we define them as place where one can order a meal from a range of choices at a range of times and eat it on the premises. About 1765, people rounding the corner of the Rue Banlieue in the Rue des Poulies, just a few blocks east of the Café Copyright de l'Art Copyright Gens, passed by the innovator Euro unregistered trademark S-sign, a Euro oe Boulanger da copyright by des Restaurants de Vince Euro. Boulanger was originally a soup vendor and certain soups were known as restaurants Euro literally, a Euro oe storatives Euro. The Encyclopedia Copyright die defined restaurant as a Euro oe a medical term. It is a remedy whose purpose is to give strength and vigor Euro. Thanks to Boulanger and his imitators, these soups moved from the category of remedy into the category of health food and ultimately into the category of ordinary food. Almost forgotten in the spread of restaurants was the fact that their existence was predicated on health, not gustatory, requirements. United States. In the United States, it was not until the late 18th century that establishments that provided meals without also providing lodging began to appear in major metropolitan areas in the form of coffee and oyster houses. The actual term restaurant did not enter into the common parlance until the following century. Prior to being referred to as restaurants, these eating establishments assumed regional names such as Eating House in New York City, Restaurator in Boston, or Victualling House in other areas. Restaurants were typically located in populous urban areas during the 19th century and grew both in number and sophistication in the mid-century due to a more affluent middle class and to suburbanization. The highest concentration of these restaurants were in the West, followed by industrial cities on the eastern seaboard, with the lowest number of restaurants per person located in the southern states. In contemporary times, Latin America, Colombia, in Colombia, a picadero is a type of casual or rustic eatery. Meals are often shared, and typical offerings include dishes such as chorizo, chicharrón, fried organs, fried yuca, maduro and corn on the cob. Customers order the foods they want and the prepared foods are served together on a platter to be shared. The word piquete can be used to refer to a common Colombian type of meal that includes meat, yuca and potatoes, which is a type of meal served at a piquetería de arroz. The verb form of the word piquete, piquetear, means to participate in binging, liquor drinking, and leisure activities in popular areas or open spaces. Guides. Restaurant guides review restaurants, often ranking them or providing information to guide consumers. One of the most famous contemporary guides is the Michelin series of guides which accord from 1 to 3 stars to restaurants they perceive to be of high culinary merit. Restaurants with stars in the Michelin Guide are formal, expensive establishments. In general, the more stars awarded, the higher the prices. The main competitor to the Michelin Guide in Europe is the guidebook series published by Galt-Millau. Unlike the Michelin Guide, which takes the Restaurant d'Art Copyright Co. and service into consideration with its rating, Galt-Millau only judges the quality of the food. Its ratings are on a scale of 1 to 20, with 20 being the highest. In the United States, the Forbes Travel Guide and the AAA rate restaurants on a similar 1 to 5-star or diamond scale. 3, 4, and 5-star diamond ratings are roughly equivalent to the Michelin 1, 2, and 3-star ratings, while 1 and 2-star ratings typically indicate more casual places to eat. In 2005, Michelin released a New York City guide, its first for the United States. The popular Zagat survey compiles individuals' comments about restaurants but does not pass an official critical assessment. The Good Food Guide, published by the Fairfax newspaper group in Australia, is the Australian guide listing the best places to eat. Chef's hats are awarded for outstanding restaurants and range from 1 hat through 3 hats. The Good Food Guide also incorporates guides to bars, cafes and providers. The Good Restaurant Guide is another Australian restaurant guide that has reviews on the restaurants as experienced by the public and provides information on locations and contact details. Any member of the public can submit a review. Nearly all major American newspapers employ food critics and publish online dining guides for the cities they serve. Some news sources provide customary reviews of restaurants, while others may provide more of a general listings service. More recently, internet sites have started up that publish both food critic reviews and popular reviews by the general public. Economics: many restaurants are small businesses, and franchise restaurants are common. There is often a relatively large immigrant representation, reflecting both the relatively low startup costs of the industry and the cultural importance of food. Canada: there are 86,915 commercial food service units in Canada, or 26.4 units per 10,000 Canadians. By segment, there are 38,797 full-service restaurants, 34,629 limited-service restaurants, 741 contract and social caterers, 6,749 drinking places. Fully 63% of restaurants in Canada are independent brands. Chain restaurants account for the remaining 37%, and many of these are locally owned and operated franchises. European Union: the EU27 has an estimated 1.6 million businesses involved in accommodation and food services, more than 75% of which are small and medium enterprises. United States: as of 2006, there are approximately 215,000 full-service restaurants in the United States, accounting for $298 billion in sales, and approximately 250,000 limited-service restaurants, accounting for $260 billion. One study of new restaurants in Cleveland, Ohio found that 1 in 4 changed ownership or went out of business after 1 year, and 6 out of 10 did so after 3 years. The 3-year failure rate for franchises was nearly the same. Restaurants employed 912,100 cooks in 2013, earning an average $9.83 per hour. The waiting staff numbered 4,438,100 in 2012, earning an average $8.84 per hour. Jiaxi Liu of the Washington Post reports in 2014 that Americans are spending $683.4 billion a year dining out, and they are also demanding better food quality and greater variety from restaurants to make sure their money is well spent. Regulations: in many counties, restaurants are subject to inspections by health inspectors to maintain standards for public health, such as maintaining proper hygiene and cleanliness. As part of these inspections, cooking and handling practices of ground beef are taken into account to protect against the spread of E. coli poisoning. The most common kind of violations of inspection reports are those concerning the storage of cold food at appropriate temperatures, proper sanitation of equipment, regular handwashing and proper disposal of harmful chemicals. Simple steps can be taken to improve sanitation in restaurants. As sickness is easily spread through touch, the importance of regularly wiping down tables, doorknobs and menus cannot be stressed enough. Depending on local customs and the establishment, restaurants may or may not serve alcoholic beverages. Restaurants are often prohibited from selling alcoholic beverages without a meal by alcohol sale laws. Such sale is considered to be activity for bars, which are meant to have more severe restrictions. Some restaurants are licensed to serve alcohol, and/or permit customers to bring your own alcohol. In some places restaurant licenses may restrict service to beer, or wine and beer. See also: Notes and references. Bibliography: Gannett, Jack. Daily Life in China on the Eve of the Mongol Invasion, 1250–1276. Stanford, Stanford University Press. ISBN A0-8047-0720-0. Spang, Rebecca L., The Invention of the Restaurant. Harvard University Press, West, Stephen H. Playing with Food, Performance, Food, and the Aesthetics of Artificiality in the Sung and Yuan. Harvard Journal of Asiatic Studies 57, 67–106. Retrieved July 9, 2013. Early Restaurants in America. UNLV Libraries Digital Collections. University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Retrieved April 30, 2013. Further reading: Appelbaum, Robert, Dishing It Out, In Search of the Restaurant Experience, Fleury, Ha Copyright L'Année, LINDEN Miniature Paris. Le Dar Copyright Codes Restaurants, Diasporas Indiennes dans la Ville. Humes A. Migrations, 168 €73. Haley, Andrew P. Turning the Tables, Restaurants and the Rise of the American Middle Class, 1880 Euro 1920. 384 pp. Kiefer, Nicholas M. Economics and the Origin of the Restaurant. Cornell Hotel and Restaurant Administration Quarterly, pages 5 Euro 7 doi, 10.1177/001088804024340006 Lundberg, Donald E., The Hotel and Restaurant Business, Boston O'Connors Books, 1974. ISBN 0-8436-2044-7, Whitaker, Jan, Tea at the Blue Lantern Inn, A Social History of the Tea Room Craze in America. St. Martin's Press. External links, media related to restaurant at Wikimedia Commons, quotations related to restaurant at Wikiquote.